Am I the astronaut for letting my daughter flaunt her expensive items? I, 50 female, and my husband, 48 male, have a daughter, Danica, 21 female, who's been extremely independent her whole life. Danica began working when she was 15, and now she works part-time for a large corporation while pursuing her studies. We are extremely proud of her and how hard she has worked. We generally allow her to manage her own finances, and she insists on contributing monthly to family expenses with the money she earns. Damn, okay.
Got it. Yeah.
Danica occasionally likes to make pricier purchases, which I do not have any concern over, as I think they are sensible financial choices. Like last year, she decided to purchase the newest MacBook, as her old laptop was on its last leg, and she wanted something reliable and long-lasting, or when she bought a Marc Jacobs bag for work and university. We recently went on a family trip with my brother and his family, who have 2 kids of their own, Tammy, 20 female, and Nick, 23 male. His kids and Danica aren't exactly close, but they do get along fine for the most part. I know that Tammy and Nick do not have any source of income besides my brother and have not worked a day in their life, and they are 20 and 23, as a reminder. During the trip, Danica would occasionally pay for the 3 of them for small things like drinks or food. When we were shopping, Danica bought a few items for herself and picked up gifts she wanted to bring back to her friends. During dinner that night, my sister-in-law, brother's wife, told my husband and me that we were spoiling Danica too much with her purchases. We explained that Danica earned her own money and every cent came from her job. Sister-in-law then proceeded to point and tell Danica that if that was the case, she shouldn't be flaunting her purchases and items in front of her cousins who don't have a cushy little office job and parents who spoil her into the person she is. Bitch, what? Danica apologized politely, saying that she didn't mean to flaunt her things, but I could tell that she was upset and embarrassed. Double f*** you! You embarrassed her? My husband stood up and shot back, saying that Danica shouldn't have to apologize for her own hard work. Yes. I also pointed out that Danica has been financially independent since she was 15 and that we've always done our best not to spoil her. Sister-in-law then proceeded to tell us that we weren't teaching her how to manage her finances correctly and that all this money had turned her into a little brat. I think the exact opposite of what you're saying is true, actually. Bitch.
Sister-in-law sounds like the brat.
She does. Yeah. Danica excused herself to the bathroom and texted that she had gone back to the hotel. We had a tense back and forth for the rest of the dinner, and we came back to find Danica crying in her hotel room. Called my brother, hoping that he was able to talk to his wife, but he explained that for the past few days, Tammy had been crying to her parents about not having what Danica had. Shocker. She had been whining to her mom that she wanted the newest MacBook as well, but she refused to get it for her. Myself, Danica, and my husband have been getting calls from the rest of the family, some calling us assholes, and some who were willing to hear us out and understand where we were coming from. So am I the astronaut? Top comment on this one. So 2 grown adults complain to their parents about what a 3rd grown adult has bought with her own money. Do they not realize how pathetic that sounds? NTA, your daughter has done nothing wrong. This is gross. It's gross. And the fact that they got to her and made her embarrassed her and hurt her so badly that she had to leave. And
she was crying, and I would have left the dinner. Your children are sitting there at 20 and 23, so they are fully grown, and they have never worked a day in their life, and they're complaining because somebody else who does work has money. Instead of a teaching moment by sister-in-law, I think we found out why they haven't worked and who they are as people, because sister-in-law, instead of saying get a job, babied them and made it somebody else's fault.
Yes. And even now are trying to protect them from the real world.
Right. You don't get to police how other people spend their money.
No. Guess what? Life's not fair. You aren't going to get everything that everyone else has. So it's so funny that they, or the daughter, the 20-year-old daughter, bitched to her mom because she didn't have the things that Danica had, right? She's like, I want the newest MacBook. I want what she has. I want those things. And instead of doing anything to teach her the lesson, like you said, and use it as a teaching moment, instead of addressing that, she couldn't even do that. She just passed the buck and was like, you and your nice things that we can't afford to get for our kids. All the way off.
Especially if my child was earning their own money, buying their own things, 1, I would be hella proud. And then 2, I would not have stayed at that dinner.
No.
My ass would have been gone as soon as they said it. And I would be, and I love that her dad stood up and was like, do not apologize because you have nothing to apologize for. And 100%, I would leave and I would not entertain their bullshit again and say, when you teach your kids to grow the fuck up, then we can talk, but not until.
I wonder what story the rest of the family got, because immediately, their immediate action was to broadcast it.
Yeah. Because they're entitled shits, the whole family.
So
And
they wanted
taught their
to
kids the same
they wanted to
thing.
victimize themselves for this. It just makes them look bad. But whatever version of the story they got was enough for other family members to call and say that they were assholes.
I mean, I would assume they got whatever sister-in-law was saying, like whatever sister-in-law was dishing out at this table is the story that they got. Danica bought shit, paraded it in front of their kids to make them feel bad about themselves, when instead your issue is actually with yourself.
Okay, so in that argument, when OP and hubby here said, no, we didn't buy that stuff for her. She bought it for herself. So mom there, bitchy mom, came in with the misconception that they had bought everything for her and were spoiling her. So I don't doubt, and whenever they said that's her money, she's worked for her whole life, that was a logical argument that should have extinguished this fire immediately. And even then, if the parents want to buy shit for their kid,
Yeah.
go f yourself. You don't get an opinion on that. But them saying she worked for that, it's her own damn money. She can spend it how she pleases. That should have extinguished this fire. Instead, she just scrambled, right? So I'm guessing the story that she broadcasted to the rest of the family was that they bought it all for her. They did not explain. She didn't explain when she was broadcasting this to victimize herself that Danica had bought any of this shit with her own money. So now they've got to correct everyone who calls and has a opinion on it. And you know what? Having to do that, having to correct the story because all these people were given misinformation on purpose to get riled up, like it just raises her up the ladder even more for me.
Right. Yeah. I think sister-in-law, in my opinion, is ask on one.
Yeah. So OP.
We started out with 2 ask on ones.
OP. And
Yeah.
TA.
Is
Bitchy sister-in-law. And hubby. Because he's right there with her. He didn't stop any of this.
if jealousy turns people into something not good, makes people act the way that they wouldn't act, and it does. I think it tarnishes their soul. Honestly,
So you
It's not
split your
great.
soul for Horcruxes, jealousy, and the other thing.
All the bad shit. But yeah, jealousy is just not a good trait, and to pass that on to your kids and then validate their jealousy and make it somebody else's fault instead of teaching them right from wrong.
Yeah.
It's like you can ride the ship all the way to ask on one.